All right, today we're diving into something really special. It's an ancient letter, but get this, it wasn't written in some fancy palace or university. Nope, it was written from inside a Roman prison. We're talking about the Book of Ephesians, and believe me, its message absolutely shook the world. In this letter, it's all built around this incredible secret, something the writer calls a mystery that had been kept under wraps for ages. So, what was this big secret hidden for so long and finally revealed from a prison cell? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out.
Okay, so before we can really get the message, we've got to understand the context, right? We need to know who wrote this thing and why it was such a big deal.
So, the guy behind the letter? None other than the Apostle Paul. And he's writing this while he's a long, long way from home. We're talking somewhere between 60 and 62 AD, and Paul is literally under house arrest in Rome. So even though he's stuck, he's not silenced. He pens this letter to a church he knew really well back in Ephesus and has a guy named Tychicus deliver it for him. And what was his main point? Well, Paul was trying to explain what he called the mystery of the church. And at its core, this was a totally radical idea. It was a call for unity between two groups that had been at odds for centuries, Jews and non-Jews, or Gentiles. He's saying they're coming together to form something brand new. And that leads us right into the heart of the letter, this great mystery. So what exactly did Paul mean by that word? And what did this new, unified group, this one body, actually look like? You see, when Paul uses the word mystery, he doesn't mean like a whodunit novel. For him, a mystery was a divine secret that God had kept quiet until now. And the big reveal? It was this. Jews and Gentiles were no longer on separate tracks with God. They were now in it together, fellow heirs, part of the exact same body, the church. I mean, the letter lays out this incredibly dramatic before and after scenario. Before, the Gentiles were basically on the outside looking in, described as alienated, without hope. But now, through Christ, everything's changed. They've been brought near, made into fellow citizens, even members of God's own family. That massive wall that stood between them, it's been torn down. And Paul uses this amazing picture of a building to describe this new community. Think of it like a new spiritual temple, only this one isn't made of stone and mortar, it's made of people. It's built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, and the most important piece, the cornerstone holding the whole thing together, is Christ himself. It's a structure where everybody, Jew and Gentile, has the exact same standing. But this wasn't just about changing a group dynamic. It went way deeper. It was about a profound, personal transformation for every single person involved. We're talking about a journey from spiritual death to actual life. One commentary we looked at puts it in really stark terms. It says, the unbeliever is not sick, he is dead. Think about that. Paul's not saying people without God just need a little boost or some medicine. He's saying they need a full-blown resurrection. And a resurrection like that, it's not something you can do for yourself. This is where the letter makes this huge, dramatic turn. It hinges on two of the most powerful words you'll find anywhere, but God. That phrase just changes everything. It signals that the solution isn't coming from us, it's coming from somewhere else entirely. So what did God do? Well, the letter lays out three incredible things. First, he took spiritually dead people and made them alive with Christ. Second, he raised them up, just like he raised Christ. And third, and this is mind-blowing, he seated them in a position of spiritual authority and security right there with him in the heavenly realms. And the engine driving this whole transformation is a single concept, grace. What is it? It's basically God's unearned favor, his divine power given to us freely. To put it simply, this new life isn't a paycheck you earn for being good. It's a gift, a pure gift that you just receive through faith. Okay, so when you receive a gift that massive, it's got to change how you live, right? And that's exactly where the second half of the letter goes. It shifts from explaining who you are to explaining how to live. It's all about putting on what Paul calls the new self. And the challenge is actually pretty simple to say, but profound to live out. Live a life that's worthy of the calling you've received. Basically, make sure your everyday actions line up with your new identity. Your walk should match your talk. And Paul draws this really sharp contrast between two ways of life. You've got the old self, which is all about corruption and being cut off from God. But then you have the new self, which is something completely different, a new creation designed in God's image with a totally renewed way of thinking, full of righteousness and holiness. And this isn't just some high-in-the-sky idea either. Paul gets super practical. He says this new life looks like, well, it looks like telling the truth. It looks like dealing with your anger without sinning. It looks like working honestly, not just to get by, but so you have something to share. It's about using your words to build people up, not tear them down. And it's about being kind, compassionate, and forgiving. He wraps it all up in this powerful image of light and darkness. He says, before you were darkness, not just in darkness, but you were darkness. But now you are light in the Lord. So the challenge is simple. Live like it. Walk as children of light and stay far away from the useless deeds of darkness. All right, so as the letter wraps up, it ends with a really stark warning and a call to arms. Because this new life, it's not a peaceful retirement on a beach somewhere. It's a battleground.
Like one commentary puts it, the Christian life is a battleground, not a playground. And that's such a crucial thing to get. There's a real enemy who is actively working against this new way of living. But, and this is absolutely key, Paul is crystal clear about who the enemy isn't. The fight is not against other people. It's not flesh and blood. He insists the real struggle is against spiritual forces of evil. This is a spiritual battle, and that means you need spiritual gear.
And the good news is, God provides the equipment. Paul uses the image of a Roman soldier, which everyone back then would have immediately understood. He talks about putting on the full armor of God. You've got the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, shoes ready with the gospel of peace, the all-important shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and finally, the only weapon for attack, the sword of the Spirit, which he says is the word of God. So why all this armor? What's the point? It's so that when the attacks inevitably come, you can stand your ground. Notice that. It's mostly a defensive stance. It's about holding firm and not getting pushed back by the enemy's schemes. And that brings us right back to today. This ancient letter, sent from a Roman prison, talks about a secret revealed, a brand new life, and a very real spiritual battle. So the question it leaves for us, for you and me, is pretty simple. In the battles you're facing right now, which piece of that armor do you need to pick up and put on today?